Well, hello, everybody. I'm Yoon Cannon, Paramount Business Coach, and today we're having a nice fireside conversation with Dr. Sonja and Toni Harris Taylor. So, welcome, ladies.
Thank
Thank
you for having
you.
us.
Yes, absolutely. I love conversations like this. This is, of course, near and dear to my heart since we're all fellow coaches. And this is great for other people who are thinking about starting a coaching business or they're currently a coach and just feeling isolated. Or maybe they're just a solopreneur. But I do believe that isolation is the enemy to excellence. So this is an opportunity for somebody to just be like a fly on the wall and be able to feel like they are participating in a small group community. So, we're going to be talking about challenges in growing a solo practice and growing your business as a coach or consultant, speaker. And we're going to be talking about what got you from 0 to 6 figures. We'll be talking about your personal challenges, how you got over it, and many, many more. So I just want to introduce everybody. Dr. Sonja, I'll start with you. Looking over, let me see, where did I put your bio? All right. So Dr. Sonja is an Air Force veteran, professor. Gosh, you're a lot of things. Speaker, consultant, business expert. You're a strategist, and you are a motivational and inspirational speaker who imparts stories of grit, determination, overcoming adversity. Wow, I can't wait to hear your adversity story. I already know a little bit of it, but I'll let you share. So she equips her audiences with skills to conquer any challenge, to face your fears and your and your challenges. So you were featured in Forbes magazine in 2014, spotlighting Southeast women's business leaders, and you were also in Women in Business magazine. So I'm excited to hear about your story. And then we are going to be talking with Toni Harris Taylor. Toni is an award winning franchise owner, and you purchased Network in Action Global Partners. So, NIA Global Partners is an international community of business owners who come together to mastermind, similar to what this might feel like. This is on a smaller level, bringing each other warm referrals and supportive community. Toni lives by the mantra of being drastic in her business. She owns drasticresults.com, so check her out if you'd like to learn more about Toni. She is a drastic results marketing and sales coach, and she helps her clients learn the strategies to get known, get connected, and get paid to make 6 figures and beyond. So, wow, got some powerhouse women here. Woohoo! I'm just curious for our audience too. What was it about coaching? Why did you want to start a coaching business? So, Dr. Sonja, can we start with you?
Or my journey started at a very young age as a young entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
My father, my grandfather, my uncles and great uncles, they actually launched a company called the Dudes Club of Dayton. So it was a restaurant, a club, and they said, "Hey, we need your help." So I was the one typing up all the information, helping them to create their logo, their design. And from there, from middle school, high school, even through college, I had always been setting up new organizations, advocating for organizations to be in existence, and then being selected to train other leaders across the United States and abroad. So as I became an adult, of course, I went through all kinds of education from my bachelor's to double master's and now a doctorate of management and organizational leadership. I just felt that this was an area I needed to start doing for myself because I'd been doing for others for so long that I wanted to be able to launch this company to continue to help businesses to grow and to succeed as well.
Oh, so you've got a heart to help people. I think that's a huge denominator, common denominator of a lot of coaches for sure. And Toni, what about you? What led you to want to start a business as a sales and marketing coach?
It kind of came to me.
Uh huh.
I was not looking to be a marketing and sales coach, but I had a stint with Constant Contact, the email marketing company, where I was a affiliate with them. They called them solution providers. And I was one of their top 5 salespeople in the country. And then the entrepreneurs that I would meet along that journey would say, constant contact is just one thing that we need to do. Can you be my business coach? And I was like, no, this is what I do. But after getting the request, I'm no dummy. After getting the request multiple times, I started to build my coaching practice. And honestly, I fought it kicking and screaming. In 2016, the whole constant contact program changed and I had to shift. And that's where I took a serious look at business coaching, specifically marketing and sales, because I know my target market is service providers. So people who have to sell their expertise, speakers, coaches, authors, trainers, accountants, financial professionals. If you sell your expertise, you're my target audience. And what I know for sure is most people love what they do. They just don't want to market it or sell it.
Yes, yes, I find the same thing. They're great at
Right.
what they do, but not great at marketing what they do, or nor do they particularly enjoy marketing what they
Exactly.
do.
So the branding strategies, the how to get yourself out there, how to do more speaking to attract clients, how to put on profitable events, how to use social media to build relationships. Those are the things that I teach.
Mhm.
And it's bottom line, it's all about standing out and being drastic. And that's where the brand Drastic has come from, because the sales part is very drastic for most entrepreneurs. It's drastic to set aside time for marketing. It's drastic to follow up. It's drastic to show up. And I have the privilege of being Dr. Sonja's coach as well. Thank you so much for choosing me. But and coaches need coaches. Coaches
Absolutely.
need coaches because we are so close to our own business that we let ourselves off the hook all the time. So
Absolutely.
that's how I got into marketing and sales coaching.
Yeah, I think it's a lot like anything else. If you're a doctor, you're not going to diagnose yourself or fix yourself or treat yourself. If you're a hairdresser, you're not going to cut your own hair. If you're a masseuse, you're not going to do that for yourself. You do need other coaches to come alongside you. So I definitely agree with that. And interesting, we all have very different backgrounds, how we came into coaching. And I know for me, I had a very distinct moment where, I had started my coaching practice after I sold 3 of my businesses. And there was a moment where one of my employees had asked if I could coach her, previous boss, because she had dedicated something like 25, 30 years to her business. And she went through 5 marriages all over. Every husband had left her because they felt like they were competing with the business. She was always working 60 hours plus a week. And that just blew my mind, thinking, wow, after 25, 30 years, you're still working that much. And it just broke my heart that just hearing that other people are out there sacrificing way too much. They didn't need to, sacrifice their family life over being married to the business. So I really wanted to do something about that and help other business owners create structures where they can work less in their business and still grow and scale their business growth. So we all have some, I love all of our different stories, and it just stems from our unique journey. But the journey isn't always full. It's not always easy. And I think for some people who are thinking about maybe starting a coaching practice, of course, the number one question in their mind is, how can I make a good living from this? How can I go from leaving my corporate job and going from 0 to 6 figures? So can you talk a little bit about that? I'll pick up with Toni if you can talk about was it a key tactic, a strategy, mindset shift that helped you go and build your business from 0 to 6 figures? What was it for you?
I often I have posted on social media, what does it take to be a 6-figure entrepreneur? And the answers was risk taking, motivation, education, All of these soft skill answers, nobody said deposits in the bank. You can have all those skills, but if you have no deposits, you don't have a six-figure business. And so what gets you to deposits in the bank? Yes, you got to have a strong mindset, but you also have to develop your marketing and sales skills. Leading for me with networking.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we as business owners have only a few ways to prospect, serious ways. Cold calling, door knocking, social media ads. You can do passe advertising like magazines, TV, radio. Nobody got budget or time for that. Or you can learn and network. What has taken me to six figures is networking, but real networking, not going and just passing out business cards, really developing relationships with people, doing one to ones. The person that introduced me to you, we did a 30-minute one on one 6 months ago. When asked, who do you know? She thought of me. She thought of Sonja. That is what leads to getting to six figures, but also being able to have sales conversations and asking for the money. Now, they're two separate things. We don't ask for money in networking. We network to get in front of our target audience where we can then ask for the money. So, soft skills are needed to get to six figures, but really it's deposits in the bank. And if you don't know how to sell, if you don't spend time building sales skills, prospecting, presentations, closing, you will not get to six figures. So I hope that answered that.
Great. So for you, networking was a huge component, a part of your mix that moved the needle for your business
Absolutely.
0 to 6 figures.
Yes.
Awesome. Dr. Sonia, how about yourself?
Well, I actually started in a corporate field as a program project manager, and I was in charge of the MRAP ambulance and training program and had an opportunity to be promoted to vice president. And I had hired my replacement in preparation for this new role and responsibility. And I had got up so excited, put on my power suit, hair, makeup done. And I get to the office and everybody's like, oh my God, Dr. Sonia, I'm so excited. You got the position and we can't wait for you to be our boss. And of course, my head was swelling up like a helium balloon because I was excited for this day and for this announcement. So as I went to my desk, I sat down, I opened up my laptop, and I looked and I could not believe what I saw. The person I hired was the one that was actually chosen for the position. And I was pissed. And I remembered what Madam CJ Walker said. She said, you can't sit down and wait for opportunities to come. You have to get up and make them. So I got up, I packed my stuff, I turned in everything, and I left. And when I left out, I said, what did I just do? Because my thought was about building my business and putting it together and creating opportunities for myself to be able to grow to a six-figure level, to be able to have control over my time, my life, my family, everything without having to depend on someone else, because I had been preparing all this time only to be told no. And also in the environment that I worked in, it wasn't very conducive for diversity and inclusion. And being the only female minority was also a challenge in that process. So, because of that, I wanted to create an environment that gives everyone an opportunity to build their business, to get the skill set that they need in order to be successful as well. So, of course, as Toni mentioned, in building that, it does take relationships. And at that time, I was heavily involved in the American Businesswomen's Association, and they had given me my first platform to launch my business, to support my business, and become clients of my business. And that's actually how I met Toni initially, was through the American Businesswomen's Association. And by that time in 2017, I was the national president for the association. And in building those relationships, not just in that platform, but being able to go and speak to other organizations and getting into the chambers of commerce, working as ambassadors for their organization and just serving. And one of the things that I believe in is you have to serve first. When you serve and be able to provide for others, then it opens the opportunity to continue to build those relationships, because now you're able to create the trust, the bond, the likeness that people are feeling comfortable to do business with you, and building that relationship. And in building that relationship, they continue to share your name, to share what you do. And just like Toni mentioned, you have to be able to ask. So you can serve all you want. And I'm a huge server. However, you still have to be able to ask for the business in your service, and also look at the leadership within you and continue to develop that as a leader. Because in your business, when you stop and you're trying to get to that next level, that business level is going to stop because you've stopped here. Your business can only go as high as you are willing to lead and to prepare yourself to be able to take it to the next level.
So you really built your practice on, speaking sounds like a big source of where clients have learned about you, found out about you, and of course, built that trust, the know, like, trust factor. So really great stuff. So for Toni, you went from 0 to 6 figures largely through networking. And then
Yeah.
Dr. Sonja, you utilized and leveraged networking with speaking to then grow that business to the 0 to 6 figure mark.
Yeah, I use speaking as well. So
Yes,
I network to speak.
gotcha. And
So speaking,
what's like a
yeah.
popular? What's one of your popular talks? So somebody said, "I want to bring you out on stage for our organization." Do you have a signature talk, or do you just customize based on what they need?
So I have a signature to, I have several, but networking, one is your networking not working? Is your networking not working?
Mhm.
Strategies to grow your business beyond the business card. So
That's a
those,
great talk. How many times have I heard people say, "Ah, bah humbug, networking doesn't work." But I mean, I've heard people say that about everything. Ah, bah humbug, LinkedIn
right,
doesn't work, or
right.
whatever doesn't work. So I love that talk title.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And
Thank
Dr.
you.
Sonia, what's a popular talk title that you do when you're speaking?
Well, I also have several.
Hmm.
So one of my favorites is the power of showing up. And the other one is about taking your vision to victory in your business.
Vision to victory. Oh, I like that. I like that. That's it's definitely something that's on people's minds for sure. So, speaking of vision to victory, we all know that it's not a smooth ride. We can have the most grand, idyllic vision, but it's going to be full of challenges and setbacks. So, I'd love to have you share what was one of the most difficult parts in your entrepreneurial journey. What was a really low moment, big giant struggle where you were at a point that you were super discouraged and super deflated? Let's talk about the hard stuff, right? The hard times. Toni, do you have a story you can share?
Absolutely. So this story is my signature story. In 2019, actually, I spent all of 2018 trying to figure out how I could create a business that I could sell at retirement, because Drastic Results is my brand, it's my philosophy, and I just didn't see that as a saleable business. So in 2019, after really giving it some energy in 2018, um, I decided if I'm going to create a retirement plan, I need to close my business and get a job. And I started interviewing for jobs. And I didn't want a job. And I was like, there's got to be a better answer, but I just could not figure it out. So while I'm interviewing, I talked to a money mindset coach. Remember, coaches need coaches. So I went and told her what my dilemma was. And she's like, well, what's your why? And I told her, and she said, oh, you've already accomplished that. You need to go create a new why. Come back to me and tell me what your new why is. So I did. And I said, my why is to touch, move, and inspire my clients to take drastic steps so they can be better than they were before they met me. I'm a resource, I'm a connector. I want to help people build deeper relationships that are beneficial to their life and business. She said, Toni, that's perfect. She said, are you getting paid to connect people? No, I just connect people because I want to see everybody win. What would you need to do to get paid to connect people? I would need to start my own networking group. She said, why don't you? Oh, no, no, ma'am. I said, I've seen too many people run networking groups and not make any money. I don't know what to charge. I don't have agendas. I don't have technology. No, thank you. She said, Toni, don't worry about the how, it will show up. Yeah, girl, no. Got off of that call. A week later, a lady I had met 3 months earlier with Network in Action followed up. Toni, I still think you should be a Network in Action franchise owner. How much is that again? She told me. I was like, I don't have that kind of money. Don't worry about it. I'm going to introduce you to the franchisor. She said, I want you to just look at it. I said, God, I told you a week ago I could not, because I didn't have. Mm-hmm. Met the franchisor. Everything I said I did not have was in the model already. All I had to do was plug and play. And as a result, I am now to date his fastest launching franchise owner. I am Rookie of the Year, brand ambassador, first to launch an international group and first to launch a virtual group. And I have brought 8 franchisees, including Dr. Sonja, to Network in Action to run, to build a franchise. So I was this close to quitting my job, quitting my business, getting a job, and Network in Action came in, and I have tripled my income because they feed each other. Yeah. Network in Action is perfect for business coaches because you bring in people and you coach them how to network, and then you give them a place to network with NIA. So it's been the best decision in the nick of time. God said, you know what, girl, here. And now I get to change lives around the world through relationships.
Wow, that's beautiful. You know, I think I know a lot of coaches and consultants, solo practice owners are in a similar situation, challenge, where they feel like their back's up against a wall and they have to come up with something different to do, especially with the pandemic and how that's changed a lot of the landscape for people's businesses. Yeah. And I love that your coach gave you a brilliant question. What do you need to do? And you came up with that idea. Or God gave you that idea.
I brought Network in Action into my life, and it's transformed. I started 3 groups during the pandemic and made 6 figures with what was an in-person model. We had to shift, of course, to virtual, but just that part of my business has made 6 figures with networking. I just can't even believe it. Pinch me.
Wow. And it all came from your low point, the hardest part of your entrepreneurial career, when you were seriously thinking about throwing the towel in. And then this is how you pivoted. I love it. I love that. I love that story, from adversity to conquering, vision to victory, right?
It was drastic. It was drastic. Yeah. I never saw myself as a franchise owner.
Oh, wow. And it also blended, it still utilized your same skill sets, and you weren't really shifting your brand as a sales and marketing and a business coach. You were still
Exactly.
working in that space, but adding an additional business model to it. And but thank you for sharing your.
And I want to add one more thing, and then I'll turn it over to Dr. Sonja. I am now building 20 groups around the country. My call right before this one, I was talking to someone in Saudi Arabia who is looking to become a leader under my brand. Saudi Arabia? Are you kidding?
Wow, so
So that's
exciting.
exciting. I will be able to touch people all over the world because I didn't quit. Because
Yes,
I
yes.
didn't quit. And because I kept showing up at the time when I was ready to quit. I just kept going, I'm like, there's got to be a better way.
Yes.
And now I've got 20 leaders coming on board. I haven't met them yet, but I have 5 right now. And my goal is 20 leaders leading 20 groups around the world.
Wow, that's exciting. But you know, to your credit, what you didn't just wallow in the frustration and agony of where you were at when you were thinking of throwing the towel in. You didn't wallow there. You went and got help. You sought to work with a coach to give you some insight on that. And that one question sounded like that just was the catalyst for you to think about, oh, well, I don't talk you back into that it was possible and it is possible for you to start your own networking group. Beautiful. Dr. Sonja, how about yourself? What was the hardest part of your entrepreneurial career?
For me, it's just asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I used to believe that asking for help was a sign of weakness. And I never wanted to be a burden on others. So I would just stay quiet, just try to muster through the hardship alone. And because of this belief, I was almost homeless. I was too embarrassed to go home, talk to friends, because they always saw me as this well put together person, always succeeding. And I didn't want to distort that image. So, of course, even after joining the United States Air Force and being paralyzed while on duty from the waist down, even in that trial, I was still afraid to ask for help because I was a go-to person. And my children at the time were ages 4 and 6. And I had just gone through a divorce. And, again, it was really hard for me to just get back on track. And when I decided that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength, when I realized that it was time to stop masking the pain, acting all tough, and just be honest and authentic with myself, and just know that you can go so much further when you work with someone else, when you have a team. And of course, by doing that, I was able to walk again. It took me 6 months and, 6 years to actually
Wow.
walk completely. But
Wow.
within that time, I was able to deal with those struggles. I was able to teach my children, to not be so independent on your own. It's okay to do things on your own. It's okay to do those. But when you need help, it's okay to ask. Because when you're better equipped for taking on bitter and bigger challenges. So bigger and bigger and better opportunities as well. So for me in running a business by myself, trying to get through life by myself, I struggled. So my advice is don't do it alone. Take the time to ask for help. Have a business coach. And of course, by that time, I've reached out to Toni because I was drowning. I was barely making it. And, sometimes I have that shiny eye syndrome. Everything looks really great. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And one of those drastic steps, as Toni would say, I invested into Network in Action as a franchise and added it to my current brand. And it has been wonderful. So again, my advice would be save the heartache, save the pain. You will reach your goals so much faster. And what I've also learned in that process is that you can be strong enough to stand alone, smart enough to know when you need help, and brave enough to ask for it.
Mm.
So you don't have to go through it, even if you have a cohort. And it's important to make sure that you're choosing people that have the skill set that you need, and not just your cousins, who may not be experts in that space, or watching YouTube, because, sometimes not all the YouTube channels has everything that you need. But
Right.
taking the time to invest in yourself to get the professional knowledge and skills that you need to be successful, and just having a team or a peer of individuals to help you move to that next level.
Yes, those are. First of all, I just want to say, holy cow, that is massive amount of adversity that you had to overcome, and that you were, you know, I think to the rest of us to think that of course you should ask for help. If you're in a wheelchair, you need help to get through life, and to hear you share that that was hard for you to ask for help. And I don't know about both of you ladies, but I found in my coaching practice, I've had my coaching practice for about 16 years now, and I find a tendency that men, generally speaking, in my experience, tend to invest in themselves faster and easier and at a higher level than my women clients. And so when you were saying you struggled to ask for help, and I wonder how much of that is innate in a lot of us women, to not be afraid to say, hey, if you want to get past those struggles, it's going to be a lot easier and faster if you do ask for help. So you asked for help through going to the Toni as a coach. The rest of us business owners, we can also even just ask for help by hiring help at home, hiring help inside your business.
Mhm.
And so thank you for sharing, your low point in your,
And
because I think people
can
would
I,
less.
can I add to that?
Yes.
Let me add to that because it's real important that you have a network you can call on.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's important that my saying is show up, be up, follow up to blow up. You have to build the network when things are right
Mm-hmm.
so that you have somebody to call on when things are not right. And let me tell you, life's a cycle, so the not right is around the corner. So the coach that I met with and asked for help from, I met her networking 3 years prior to the conversation. She was there for me when the time, but I was showing up, building relationships, had community to count on. Now, not to Sonja's story is incredible. Every time she tells me she was paralyzed and it took 6 years for her to recover. That's phenomenal.
And to have the
But
faith, to
and to
keep
have
your faith through that 6 years and keep your hope up, that's really remarkable.
so I spent 10 days in a coma myself.
Oh,
And so had to call on my network for support during that time. And I will tell you, when I came out of the coma, I found out that my family put up a GoFundMe. I never would have told them to do that, but they put up a GoFundMe. And when I looked at the list of all the people who contributed, most of them I had never met in person. It was all virtual, social media networking.
yeah.
So when you build that network so that when you have the need, they're there for you. And
Yes,
when they have the need, you're there for them. This is two-way, right?
absolutely.
So it's so critical to come back to
Mhm.
relationships are everything.
Amen to that. And I appreciate what you're saying, and I couldn't agree with you more, which is one of the things I said in the beginning of this conversation, my firm belief that isolation is the enemy to excellence. And if you want to be excellent in growing your business, you cannot continue alone, because it's not whether a setback or a storm or a life altering challenge happens to you. It's when it happens. You need to have a support system. I've had a lot of success with network groups similar to what you have with the NIA. So I am a huge proponent and endorse being in a networking group. But it's also in a different sense, whatever support system you need, which is another reason why I believed and I wanted people to get plugged in, whether it's a networking group or get plugged into like a peer advisory group, mastermind group type of setting, where it's a more intimate setting where we're talking about digging into your business on a deep level. Whatever it is, however it looks to you, that will resonate to you better, serving your needs. Or maybe even both, right? I think all the above is actually great. Being in a networking group to get that referral relationship going, and also being in some type of a small group community of advisory groups, or mastermind groups as they're known. So, but the end is that you don't want to be in this alone. There's no gold star, there's no award, there's no trophy for saying I did it all by myself. I had no help from anyone, right? There's no trophy for that. We all need each other to, come alongside each other and support. So just in wrapping up, we talked about why you started your coaching practice. We talked about what are some keys that got you from 0 to 6 figures. We talked about your lowest point in your entrepreneurial career. So what about moving forward, to continuing to grow and take your business to the next level? What keeps you motivated, and what are you doing to just become a better CEO, become a better business owner? Tell us some about your tips, Dr. Sonja.
Sure. Well, for me, I'm looking at diversifying what I'm already providing. So with corporate cycle consulting, not only do we provide the coaching, the consulting, and the training, but we've added network in action to add the connections. And with the strategy coaching, we look at Lean Six Sigma process improvements. So as a black belt, we look at how we can improve the opportunities within the business so that everyone is more profitable in what you're doing and not wasting time and energy. And part of that is being certified to do business with the government and on the corporate level. So for me, being a certified minority business enterprise is helping me to take my business to the next level, because now I'm able to have my business in front of corporate partners, business partners, and not just individuals who are just looking to start and grow. So being able to diversify my portfolio is huge.
And you have like a crazy entrepreneurial empire that you've diversified. You do Legal Shield, you offer insurance, you do your coaching, you offer the networking. You're meeting people's needs at all angles. So it's almost like you own the whole Monopoly board now.
Yes.
So kudos to you. So tell me about yourself. Toni, what are you doing to just continue to get better, continue to motivate yourself and get better in your business?
Yeah, who motivates the motivator? That's the question. So I am hiring a coach for the beginning of next year. And the reason what I'm looking for is a next level scaling coach. As I said, I'm growing NIA into 20 groups. That's a scale. My intention is to sell that business one day. So my next level is to get to those 20 leaders, get them all running 20 groups with 20 members in 2023. And then how am I scaling drastic results so that they come together? So since purchasing network in action, I've seen where now drastic results can be a scalable business and a saleable business. So I've got irons in the fire as well, but my whole thing now is to be more of a CEO, less of a worker, to create a saleable business in the future. I am doing my upcoming conference, the Viral Networking Conference.com. The Viral Networking Conference is November 2nd through 4th. And I'm inviting your community to check it out. That's where Dr. Sonja got hooked on the Drastic results last year. And it was a phenomenal experience. And so I'm going to continue to do 2 conferences a year to fill my coaching programs and my NIA groups. And what's next is scaling and becoming more of a CEO and less of a worker.
Nice, nice. Love that. Absolutely. So now, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that, Toni?
It's in my lower third at the bottom where my name is. Just go to meetwithtoniharristaylor.com, click the book a call link for get to know you one-to-one. Just get to know me. I want to get to know you. I am responsible for connecting business owners. So whether you do anything with me or not, who do you need to know and how can I help you is always what you should come to the table with, because I'm going to open a door for you. That's what I do best. So meet with ToniHarrisTaylor.com.
All right. Meet with ToniHarrisTaylor.com. And Dr. Sonja, how can people get in touch with you?
So I love to talk on the phone, but if you can't reach me by phone, you can always reach me by email. So phone 843-920-3222, 843-920-3222, or email Sonja, Sonja, at corporatecycleconsulting.com. And that's Sonja at corporatecycleconsulting.com. Or feel free to visit our website at www.corporatecycleconsulting.com.
All right, beautiful. Well, ladies, thank you for sharing your story and being authentic. I really appreciate your honesty and sharing the highs and the lows with your experience. Any final last tips of words of advice and short tips that you might want to share before we wrap?
Yep. Show up, be up, follow up to blow up. And remember, you have to take drastic steps if you want to get drastic results.
I love that message. Love it. Dr. Sonja, any last final words?
So my tip is to never give up. It's okay to ask for help. And in asking for help, you will take your vision to victory.
I love that. Love that. So thank you, ladies, and thanks everybody for joining us on this particular episode where we got to dive into what it looks like to grow a solo practice and how to grow your coaching consulting business. So that's a wrap. I'm Yoon Cannon, and make sure you catch us on the next panel interview. All right, take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.